and I enjoy seeing all of your artworks. I also see there are more and more future art. These items, we need pencil, eraser, ruler, paper, oil pastels. If you don't have oil pastels, you can use crayons or color pencils to do the same kind of art. So today we have Kavya and Ovia with me to draw. Say hi.
Hi.
So I hope you're all ready to draw with me as well. Lasya is here. Hi Lasya, good to see you back. So today we are going to do an animal that's very unique. This animal is pure white. It has one horn. This is an easy clue. Let's see who tells first. Hi Radhika, welcome back. So today we are going to do a very unique animal that's completely white with one horn. Meghana and Anjali, thanks for joining. Hi Kevin, good to see you. Hi Srinidhi. Hi Usha, happy to see you and your girls after a long time. Hi Usha, thanks so much. Happy to see you as well. Radhika, unicorn, that's right. Srinidhi, yeah, unicorn. Smriti, unicorn is right. Harshini, it's not a polar bear. Polar bear doesn't have any horns. Goat has two horns, Kavin. Yeah, Bhagilakshmi, unicorn is right. Yeah, Kavin, unicorn. Harshini, you're right. So we are going to do a unicorn today. It's magical. Some fun facts about unicorn are, some people think that unicorns are not real, but a lot of people think unicorns were real. So in the year 1600, they wrote stories about unicorns. They found fossils that exactly resemble unicorns. So many people still believe unicorns were there. And some people think they are present even today. They are hidden from the human world. So if any of you happen to see a unicorn someday, just let me know. You never know. You could see a unicorn and be very lucky. They are real but no magic. Radhika says there's no magic. I don't know. Maybe if you meet a unicorn one day, you can let me know if it's magical or not. I believe unicorns are magical. Okay, so let's go to our art today. We are going to draw a multicolored unicorn today. We need a ruler first. It's better to keep your paper vertically. Our unicorn face is going to be in a vertical position.
In a 23 centimeters.
So take your pencils. So I'm going to start with oil pastels. Use your pencils to start so that it's easier for you to erase even if you make any mistakes. So I'm going to draw a very long unicorn which is going to measure 30 centimeters from top to bottom. If you have a smaller paper, you can adjust your length according to that. You can leave 1 centimeter at the top and 1 centimeter at the bottom if you have a smaller paper. So I'm also going to measure the middle. For me is 15 centimeters. I'm going to keep a dot there. Are we using paint? Hi Adit, we are using oil pastels. If you don't have oil pastels, you can use crayons or color pencils too. So I'm mainly going to use oil pastels. Okay, so I made 30 centimeters measurement. If you have a smaller paper, you can do a smaller measurement with the center, marking the center in between. So from the center, I'm going to do 12 centimeters and have a dot there. Will it be multicolored? Sriniti, yeah, it's going to be multicolored. It's going to look magical with blue eyes. I love unicorns with blue eyes.
Yeah.
So from the middle, I did 12 centimeters. If you have a smaller paper, you can reduce it to 10 centimeters.
Okay.
So right there, I'm going to make a curve like that. Start with a pencil so that it's easier for you to erase. I'm going to make a curve at the mark we did on one side. Can you tell the measurements again? Yeah, Adit? So I kept the paper vertically so that you have more room for your unicorn. So I measured 30 centimeters all the way from top to bottom and made a mark. If you have a smaller paper, you can reduce couple of inches. I also marked my center for the measurement, and from there I took 12 centimeters on the left side. So I made a curve with that edge. So the face is going to be a little bigger, so you might want to make your curve a little bigger too. So I'm going to make curvier here and touch the center dot. So it's gonna go in a curvy way and touch the center. And in the center, I'm going to make another curve right there. So that's going to be our base for the face. And from the center dot, move just away from the center dot, and I'm going to make a little curvy neck until the bottom dot. So this is going to be our neck here. Okay. And then from the face here, I'm going to make a curve that's gonna go till here. It's gonna curve like that. And just below the top dot, I'm connecting the curve.
Wait, I can't see. Okay, good.
Just right below the top dot. Okay, so after this I'm going to make a hair which is going to take a S-like curve in the middle. So it's not just about the curvy face, it's going to be right after that. Can you wait? Yeah, Radhika, I'll wait for you. So there's too much curves in this unicorn. Okay?
Wait. Scribble.
And then I'm going to do more hair starting here like that. It's gonna have a lot of curls, so I'm gonna twist that and make it on top of the head. And another curly hair just on top. And before going to the next curve, we are going to make one of the unicorn ears right there, so that we don't go on top of the ear. Can you wait, Meghna? Yeah, Meghna, I'll wait for a minute here. So we are making curls on top of the unicorn. So I made 2 twisty curls, and then there's going to be one at the top, but it's not going through the ear. Okay, so this twisty hair we are going to have it closed like that under the ear. Okay, and there's going to be another ear on top of the head. It's not too big like that, it's going to be a little smaller than the other ear. I'm also going to make a line inside for both the ears. So both the ears are going to have tiny lines. So we are going to complete this with other curly hair. So I'm going to start right next to the ear here. So it's gonna come like that, and have a twist there. Can you wait? Yeah, Smriti, I'll wait here. Okay, we are just doing the top part of the unicorn. Harshini, I'll wait for you. So we had 2 ears on the top. And we are just starting with its mane. So we are almost finishing up here. So there is a twisty hair there. Yeah, just make sure they are curly and has smooth curves. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing, but it needs to be curvy and smooth. And then from there, so I'm going to do another one. And another one. So we did one side of its mane. So we're going to do the other side. Can you wait, Anya? Anya, yeah, I'll wait for you here. So it's all curly and twisted. It's gonna have a rainbow colored mane. So we started right there. So we need to make sure the other part of the hair is gonna join the other way. So we are not starting it higher or lower. It's gonna be connecting to the upper side. So I made another line there, a curvy one. Another curvy one. And we are just going to connect towards the bottom. So a lot of twisty curly parts in this unicorn. So I'm going to make it more curly at the top.
Wait a minute. Can you wait? I'm not on the. How do you disconnect the cord?
So on the other side, we just made another curvy side of this mane. Kavin, yeah, I'll wait for you. So we just connected that to the first part of the curvy side. Yeah, this unicorn could be male or female of your choice. So, and then there's going to be 2 nostrils on its nose. So I'm a little top of its nose. I'm going to do one of the nostril like that. And then another one right next to it. And we can do a smile, an extended smile. And couple of small curves above the nostril. We are left with 2 parts of the unicorn now.
The horn.
So one is the eye right there. So the placement of the eye is going to be in the middle of its face. It's gonna curve like that. With an eyelash. It's gonna have nice and big eye. A rounded bottom for the eye. And I'm going to do an eyebrow just above and a curve below the eye. So we had this big curve on top and a rounded bottom for the eye. So it's gonna be rounded at the bottom. Can you do the eye again? Yeah, Kevin? So I made like a mountain, an inverted C, like a curve, nice and round curve there. So I extended the curve on the side, and then at the bottom I did nice and rounded curve. So now the eye looks really rounded. And then we made one curve on the top and one at the bottom, similar to those 2 curves for the eye. I'm going to make a tiny mark on its side, on its face. And then for the iris, it's nice and round, not in any other shape. So I have half round. It's going to have eyelashes. Meghana, if you want, you can have eyelashes. So I had nice and round shaped iris inside. Can anybody say what is missing in this unicorn? The important part of the unicorn. Any guesses? Does it look like a unicorn already, or is it missing something? Horn. Yeah, Shubha, that's right. Horn, Naga. Yeah, horn, Smriti. Yeah, so we are going to do the horn. Horn, yeah, Radhika. So the horn is going to be right above the eye. Preeti, yeah, horn. So we missed the horn here. So I'm going to do a straight line on top of his head. Yeah, Kevin, horn is the right answer. And I'm going to do another line which is going to be broader at the bottom and not these lines, but it's going to be sharp at the edge. So it was broad at the bottom and sharp at the edge. Now for the coloring. So you can take oil pastels or crayons or color pencils. We're going to start doing the coloring for the face first. If you're doing the oil pastels, keep your palm and fingers away from the art. We don't want to smudge anything. So I'm going to use my yellow for the, not for the entire face, just for the chin, right there, and above the lip, its mouth, and there's going to be a tiny bit of yellow on top of the line we had for the nostril. Okay, just until there, not for the entire face. What color is that? Meghna, I'm using yellow for the chin part of the unicorn. Okay. And then, if you have never used gray before, we are going to do gray now. So be ready with your gray. For the face. It's going to be lighter. So I'm going to start at the top, next to the horn. Tiny hair-like gray color next to the horn. So I'm not going to cover the entire part. Next to the horn, we are going to do some hairy area with gray. So I'm still giving a lot of pressure on its sides, but towards the end, it's gonna look like feathers. And at the top as well. So I'm going to make lines at the top so that it looks like hair. So just on the corners, I'm going to blend them, and then towards the end, it should look like tiny hair. So when I'm going towards the bottom, I'm making really lighter with the pastel, not very hard. I'm not giving a lot of pressure, and that's when you have very lighter texture towards the bottom. We are going to do the same thing on this side of the mane. So I'm starting it heavily. I'm starting it with a lot of pressure, but towards the end I'm doing it lighter, and that's when I get that feathery look towards the bottom. We are not applying too much pressure as it ends. So just on the corners I'm making it really darker, but towards the end it's gonna go very light, like that. Can you wait? Yeah, Veena, I'll wait for you. What color are you using? I'm using gray, Aruna. So we are using gray to do this hairy texture. I'm not covering the entire face though, just in the corners. So if you're done with this, we can do some of the gray areas in its jawline as well as the neck. So if you're done till here, we are not going to do the feathery texture here. We are just doing the normal coloring like we do for all the classes. So with a lot of pressure and with no white spaces in between, I'm going to cover one side of its neck just near the edges, not too far, because our unicorn is going to be mostly white with magical mane. So just one side of the unicorn is gray. So we need to be very careful that we are not keeping our fingers and palm inside our art. We don't want it to smudge. And for the jawline now. So I'm going to do the same thing for the jawline. We are not covering the entire face. Just giving some shadows. Okay. And we are done with the face here. Let's come back to its features at the last. Before that, we are going to do a rainbow colored mane for the unicorn. So you can start with any of your favorite colors too. The one technique we are going to use for the mane is we are going to give a lot of shine towards the mane. So we are going to leave a little bit of space in between, in the middle layer, so that it looks like it's shiny. Okay, so I'm using purple as my first color. So when I'm doing that, I'm only going to do one side. I'm going to leave a little bit of space in the middle, and we are not going to make straight edges now. It's gonna have rough edges like that. So usually we do very smooth edges for our coloring, but this time we are not doing that because we are going to add a little bit of shine in between.
I'm not gonna add the purple.
but it's the same technique, like a blended technique with applying a lot of pressure. Okay, the next color I'm going to use is blue, but I'm going to leave a feathery line inside, just in the middle. So I'm only doing the corners. It's gonna have irregular edges like that. So we are not making straight edges to connect both our colors. So if you see here, I have irregular edges for both the colors, blue and purple. So I'm making it more darker, apply a lot of pressure. So we need to hold our pastel like we are holding a knife, not very pointy like that. We are going to use our sides like a tilted position, in the tilted position. That's when we can cover a lot of space. Also, it gets blended on its own. Awesome, thank you Adit. Hope yours is coming out well too. Okay. The next color I want to use is a dark greenish blue. So I'm going to leave the horn there. We are not going to cover the horn. We're going to give another color for the horn. So just leave the horn right there and color it next to it. So I'm using something like a teal color. Just one side. So we have to remember to do the same kind of, to leave same kind of feathery gap in between like we did for the previous portion. So I'm kind of having rough edges for this as well. Okay. So then I want to use aqua for this portion, leaving little shine like we did before. So I'm going to leave some shine right there and going to cover the bottom portion of this mane. So nice and slow. We don't want to go outside the lines. I'm also going to cover the top in a similar way. So don't forget that shine in between. So I'm just covering the top. Applying a lot of pressure. So we need to make sure we are covering up the white spaces. So I'm just doing the corners. Can we do different colors? Yeah, Harshini, you can do different colors too. So I'm going towards this portion and having the same kind of gap in between for the shine. Okay, so we just left that gap and I'm covering the rest of the area. Ta-da! It's coming out really colorful. Okay. So this time you're not blending two colors. So it already looks like it's shining. My next color is going to be green. So this part is not the main, this is the face. So we are not covering that area. So I'm going to do dark green. I'm starting with dark green on the top, leaving similar type of white space with rough edges. So we don't want to do like straight edges for that. So it might look very odd if we have straight edges for both sides of the color. So make sure you have like rugged edges like that. Can you please wait? Yeah, Veena, I'll wait for you here. So after this main is done, it's gonna look colorful and beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to have extra dark green areas. For this main. And then do a lighter green. So as you can see, I'm choosing similar colors next to each other so that it looks nice and bright and not very contrasted. So I'm going to choose light green for my next part. It's going to have the same kind of shine with rugged edges. So I'm covering the corners with applying little pressure so that it blends on its own. So I did light green there on the other side as well. So I would like to do my rugged border first and then cover the rest of the area. So it's easier for me. So it is tricky to do the corners, but if you are doing it very slowly, it doesn't go outside the lines. So we need to go very slow next to the corners. Okay. The next color, I want to make it brighter with yellow. So one side is going to be yellow. I'm going to top that off with orange. Yellow and orange always gives a brighter look. So that's what I want to do here. So its larger area is going to be orange next to the green. So when I touch the green, I'm kind of blending it a little on top of the green, and then going the similar way. Ta-da! It's so rainbowish. So with the same rough edges, we are almost towards the bottom. We are almost done with this mane. Okay. So I'm making sure the corners are covered. So I'm going to I'm smoothing out my edges a little bit more. Okay. So now I want to do light red and darker red to brighten it up even more. So this side is red. We are leaving the same kind of shine in between, so we are not forgetting that. So I'm kind of having this hairy edge, like a feathery edge.
I'm getting like purple.
And then covering this area right there. With red, it gives a blazing effect. Okay. What color are you using? Smriti, I'm using red. Just plain red. The next one is going to be dark red. If you don't have dark red, you can mix a little bit of brown with your red, and then it looks darker. Okay, so the next color I'm going to do is a darker red. I'm going to cover the bottom portion. So you can always mix a little bit of brown to make it dark on the other side. So don't forget the shine. So we're still having that shine in between. That's a lot of coloring. But it looks very colorful. Okay. On the other side, so I'm going to do the same kind of edges. And finishing it up. So with the corners, Make sure it's not going outside. So we covered up our corners. Ta-da! It's almost done. Now we have a rainbow mane for our magical unicorn. Okay. Don't forget the shine in between. Can you wait? Yeah, Radhika, I'll wait for you here. So nice and slow, and we need to cover up our white spaces and the edges.
Stop. Don't wiggle so much.
Okay. It's natural to have the oil pastel dust, so you can just wipe that off with a tissue paper. Now for the ear, I would like to do a peachy color inside the ear. Peach, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space, white space there. So I'm not going to cover the entire ear, just a little bit with peach. And going to leave the rest just like that with white. Are we done? Can we add his legs? Adit, we're not doing legs for this unicorn. It's only the face and the mane for the unicorn, okay? Maybe we need a very big paper to do our legs. So I'm going to do another ear, another peachy ear. So it's gonna be like the other one. I'm not going to cover my entire ear. Okay, Adit, yeah. Next time when we do an animal, we can do a body, legs, and everything. But this time we are just keeping it with its face, okay? Okay, now the ears are done. Now for the horn, I'm going to do gray. If you have like a darker gray, you can do a darker gray. Later we can top that off with black. So I'm going to cover my horn with a little bit of dark gray. If you don't have dark gray, like plain gray is fine. But we are going to, the horn is coming, is placed a little bit on top of its forehead, so we should cover that portion as well. Okay? Horn, yeah, Adit. So we're going to add some twisty layer to our horn. So it's gonna curve like that. After you add the gray, I'm going to add some designs for the horn. So it's optional. You can do it if you want, or you can just leave it if you don't want that twisty horn. Now for the eye. Remember, I said this unicorn is going to have blue eyes. You can do green eyes if you want, or you can do a normal eye, like just plain white. I want to do blue eye for this unicorn. Just the bottom portion of the eye is going to be blue. So this area is going to be blue. So you can do green eyes if you want. You can do white eye or brown eye. So I'm doing blue here. Now we are going to highlight some parts. With black, I want to highlight the nostrils. We need to be very careful when using the color black, because if we make any mistakes with black, it's very tough to erase it. So I'm going to do my nostrils with black. If you don't want to use black, you can use brown. And the mouth is going to be black. Before going to the eye, we can highlight some portions with brown. So I want to highlight the ears first. So I'm doing brown as an outline for my ears. And the inside of the ear. So we're just highlighting them a little bit. And the horn here. So I'm going to do an outline for the horn. So you can use brown to do that. So I'm using dark brown, Radhika. So I want to highlight the face a little bit. And the tiny curves in the nostril. And for the insides of the mane, so we're just highlighting them a little bit. Just the outline for them. So I'm going to do the same thing for the side. Okay, for the bottom of the mane. And for the other side, so instead of using dark black, brown is a good highlighter. So this became too dark here. So I'm gonna use some of my white. So we can always blend any color using white. So that's what I'm doing now. The only color left now is, the only part left now is the eye. So when we are done with the eye, our beautiful unicorn will be ready. So if we are done with the highlights, we are going for the eye. It's going to be black. We need to be very careful with black. I'm going to first do the eyelid and then the bottom of the eye, the upper part of the eye. Nice and slow. We don't want to mess up with the eye. Now for the inner eye. So I'm going to leave a tiny bit of white space before coloring everything. If you accidentally covered that spot, we can always do white after we are done with black. Okay. We need to be very careful using black. So I did leave a white space in between. Okay. And we are done with our magical unicorn. Hey. So you can go ahead and do your artistic signature at the bottom. Now that we are done with our magical unicorn. Okay, it has nice and round eye. Let's see what Kavya and Ovia have. That looks very colorful. Wow, good job, girls. So I'm sure everybody enjoyed today's art. Please post all of your drawings and I would love to watch all of your artworks. So today's unicorn was requested by Meghna. So Meghna, this is for you. So if you have any other request, you can comment it below and we can draw that. So don't forget to post your artworks. Thanks for joining, guys. See you on Thursday at 4 p.m. in our next class. Bye. Post your pictures. See ya.